We're getting 2 brand new promo cards with the new Venusaur drop event, which means we're going to be building some new decks here on the channel. Hey guys, Zen here, welcome back to the channel, and today I will be sharing with you not 1, not 2, not 3, but 6 decks revolving around the 2 brand new cards that we're getting, the Jigglypuff and the Haunter. Now, I know what you're thinking, these are only 2 cards. How on earth can you build so many decks? Well, are you new here? Kind of what we do. Now, typically what I would like to do is build these decks and then also show you guys some gameplay footage. However, if you're watching this video, that's because I am not going to be available to record live gameplay when these cards do release. So that's why I'm sharing with you my deck building, my theory crafting behind these 2 cards. And that's why you guys can take these decks and just have a ton of fun with them. These are decks that I think are going to do very, very well with these new promo cards. I mean, I did it for the Mankey and I did it for the Lapras EX, and those decks absolutely cooked. They're on the channel if you want to check those out too. But now with all of that out of the way, let's hop into Jigglypuff, the brand new card that we're getting. This is a 50 HP basic Pokemon with 1 retreat cost, 1 energy to do a sing attack, which will put the opposing Pokemon asleep. Now this is pretty good because the current Jigglypuff requires 2 energy to deal 30 damage or something, and it just doesn't even, it's not great. It's not great. I'm not gonna, there's no other way to sugarcoat it. It's just like the previous Mankey. This new Mankey is so much better. And because of that, I was thinking, why don't we build an aggressive sleep deck? Introducing Aggro Sleep, where we're running 2 Jigglypuffs, the new Jigglypuffs, 2 Wigglytuff EXs, 2 Farfetch'd, because that's just a solid basic Pokemon to deal 40 damage, as well as the 2 brand new or semi-new Mankeys, and 2 Primeapes. Now, depending on how you want to start off, you can either start off with your Jigglypuff and put your opponent to sleep, especially if you're going second, that's great. The one caveat that no one is talking about that we should address, like I'm already telling you this, I haven't even played these decks yet, but I'm already thinking ahead. The issue is, if you do in fact go second, your opponent can evolve. So if you put them asleep and then your opponent has the evolution that they need for their active Pokemon in their hand, even if they get tails, as soon as they evolve, that is no longer the same quote unquote defending Pokemon. So that evolution will actually get rid of the sleep status effect. And that is probably one of the biggest weaknesses that I can see this Jigglypuff having, but that really depends on your opponent even having the evolution in their hand to begin with. So I just wanted to address that real quick. But still, Jigglypuff, Wigglytuff dealing 80 damage, forcing your opponent to sleep with a 140 HP. That's pretty solid. That's 160 across 2 turns, especially if your opponent gets a Tails. But then the Mankey is such a good counter into the Pikachu meta. Honestly, this might counter both metas, the Mewtwo and the Pikachu meta, because you can just sleep things with Jigglypuff and they can't retreat. Let's say they start with a Ralts, you sleep them, they don't have the evolution, they can't retreat, and you can knock them out in a couple turns. But the Mankey's so good because Reckless Charge deals 50 damage to electric Pokemon, 30 to everything else, deals 10 back to itself, and then Primeape comes in to deal 100 damage since it already has that 10 damage tick, but then also 120 on things like Pikachu. Yeah, that Primeape one-taps Pikachu. We also have X speeds here, Pokeballs, 2 Professor Researchers, 2 Sabrinas to control the tempo of the game, as well as 2 Giovannis to turn that Sleepy Song into a 90 damage, or maybe you want to turn that Fight Back into 110, or even Farfetch'd Leak Slap into a 50 damage. Really up to you, but I really think this aggressive sleep deck is gonna be pretty good. Now here's a little bit different. I know you Jolteon fans are really excited for this one, and I think this will actually do really well. First, let's talk about the Zapdos, the baby Zapdos in here. It's literally in here because of the high HP, but also because of the 1 retreat cost. That's such a free retreat cost. We have 2 X speeds that can take advantage of it. Pretty much you're gonna want to frontline with your Zapdos. Now we have an Eevee here that evolves into Jolteon that requires 2 energies, 1 electric, 1 colorless energy. But now it's literally baby Zapdos EX. You see what I'm doing here? This thing has potential to do insane damage. So Zapdos gets no energy, Jolteon can take up to 2 energy, and then the rest of your energy distribution goes to your Wigglytuff, and that's going to be the thing that closes out games if your Jolteon for whatever reason gets Tails. But let me explain Jolteon real quick. You flip 4 coins for each heads you get. That's 40 damage. That's 160 damage potential output from your Jolteon, 170 with Giovanni, and you hit all heads. We have Sabrina to take advantage of any of those backliners that your opponent might have that is under, say, 40 damage or even 80 damage, where we can pivot into our Wigglytuff and just one hit knock them out. 2 Pokeballs, 2 Professor Researchers, and again, the 2 X Speeds. I think this is going to be a pretty solid one. It's a spicy one, and honestly, Jolteon gets no love outside of maybe something like a Dragonite deck list. So yeah, I think the new Jigglypuff and Jolteon are going to work very nicely. Which brings me to the final Jigglypuff promo card deck list. And yeah, you guys, come on now. Of course, we're throwing in Wheezing, Coughing here. It's literally one of the best cards in the entire Genetic Apex. I know you're sick and tired of content creators making decks of Wheezing, but there's clearly a reason why they make decks with Wheezing, because Wheezing's the best card, the best supporting card, the ability to poison the opponent, and then on top of that, Kogo just bounces them back. You're out of your mind. You're out of your mind if you didn't think Kogo Wheezing wasn't going to be in this Jigglypuff variation. Come on now. Who are we kidding? Who are we kidding? So we have Jigglypuff, Wigglytuff, Coughing, Wheezing, but the newest card in here is a Pokedex, because I feel like with such low Pokemon cards, you're gonna really need to draw the right things. Like, for example, what if you have a Coughing or a Jigglypuff, but you're missing your Wigglytuff and your Wheezing, right? Well, they both begin with W. That's kind of funny. Well, you can Pokedex, see the next 3 cards, and let's say the next 3 cards are 2 Sabrinas and a Potion. Well, that's not helping anybody. Then you could Pokeball, draw basic if you don't have it already, shuffle your deck, and now the next 3 cards aren't going to be those cards unless you're extremely unlucky and it reshuffled to the exact same spot. Hopefully you're not as unlucky as I am. But yeah, there you guys have it. Those are the 3 Jigglypuff decks that I'm interested and excited to play on ladder. But I just wanted to cook them up for you guys so you can check them out and run them yourself. Let me know in the comments what you think. But hold on, don't run away yet. We still have the new Haunter promo card. And you know what? Since we're on the Wheezing Koga train, let's just get this one out of the way. Yes, this is going to be toxic gases, really. I mean, when you think about it, Ghastly, Wheezing, kind of makes sense. But also, I already told you, Wheezing is one of the best supporting stall Pokemon in the entire game, especially when you have another Pokemon that requires 3 energy to get online. So we have the 2 Ghastly, the 2 Haunter, which is great on curve. Like, this Haunter is going to feel really good if you don't hit Tails. If you hit Tails, it's going to feel really bad, but also really good to go first. Never have you ever had a Pokemon other than Wheezing. Wheezing feels good to go first, but now you also have another Pokemon in the same deck that feels good to go first with your Haunter, dealing 50 damage. You can flip, a heads. Good luck. That takes skill, I guess. We also have 2 Gengar EXs, 1 Potion, 1 Pokedex. The Pokedex is here for the same exact reasoning as before. 2 Pokeballs, 2 Professor Researchers, 2 Sabrinas, 1 Giovanni, and we're only running 1 Koga here, so we're not going to get too crazy with the flipping and bouncing back. We just want that single Gengar EX online, because that'll shut down all of your opponent's supporter cards, which is why you only really need 1 Koga, because once that Gengar comes out, it's pretty much staying out there until it wins the entire game. You can get your second Gengar online at that point, not even worried about Sabrina. Take your time. You're kind of cooking at that point. But yeah, definitely a solid deck list with the brand new Haunter card with 2 lines that feel great going first. Who would have thought? Next is a Gengar Haunter Mewtwo EX. I know what you're thinking. This looks very weird without the Gardevoir, but I think this could be a very strong deck list, because a lot of these Pokemon only give 1 prize point, with your Mewtwo EX being your finisher that can just sit on the bench. So again, with the new Haunter, it doesn't matter if you're going first or second. Obviously, second feels a little bit better, but it doesn't matter. So we have the Haunter into the single baby Gengar. I think that's what we're calling the non-EX variants, just babies, right? So the baby Gengar, again, for 1 energy investment, can deal 50 damage and then suppress your opponent from using any supporter cards the following turn. We also have Baby Mewtwo here, and this is mainly as a frontliner. We're not really investing energy into this guy unless you're trying to retreat. Energy doesn't go on this Pokemon unless you don't have the Mewtwo EX, because the goal is to invest all of your energy onto the Mewtwo EX after you've already invested it onto your Ghastlys, your Gengar. They only need 1. And yeah, pretty much all your energy goes on your Mewtwo EX. So that way, by turn 4 or 5, you can either pivot into the Mewtwo EX and just one-shot things with Side Drive. And no Gardevoir needed. You don't need to, find the Ralts, Kirlia, or Gardevoir to make this work. This is a little interesting, spicier cook that you're probably not going to see. I mean, you actually might see now because I'm making this video on it, but who knows? We have 2 X-Speeds, 2 Pokeballs, 2 Professor Researchers, 2 Sabrinas, and 2 Giovannis. The Giovanni's a staple because with Mewtwo and the brother, those 50 damaging moves turn into 60 damaging moves, and that's a lot of damage. All right, and now we're moving on to the final deck list, and this is insanely spicy. We're gonna call this the Tech deck. Okay, guys, because we're running so much tech. Oh, I got a phone call there. My bad. So yeah, we're running so much tech with this deck. And let's just start with the Kangaskhan. You got 1 Kangaskhan to frontline for you. Flip some coins. Could do a damage output of up to 60. We got our Gengar line. Nothing too crazy here. I'm sure you've seen the video with the fossil tech on the channel. It's like one of the highest videos on this channel. We're running the old Amber. But the tech that's interesting is if you look at the weakness of Gengar, we're weak to Dark, but you know what Dark's weak to? Yeah, that's right, Mienshao and Mindfu. And they only require 1 energy to deal 20 to 40 damage or even 40 to 60 damage, especially if it's into a Dark type Pokemon. I just think it's a pretty interesting cook here. Do I think it's going to be one of the best ones? No, but I think it'll definitely catch a lot of people off guard, especially with this new Haunter. I think it's definitely going to shine because of the energy distribution. Literally every card in this deck only requires 1 energy except your Gengar EX. Now, that's just free real estate. But there you guys have it. I hope you enjoyed today's video of 6 brand new decks. Be sure to like and subscribe. I will, once I get back from my vacation, this is like from the past. So like, hi future you guys, future me, will be back the following week to upload and try these decks out live on stream and record some really good, captivating gameplay matches for you guys. But that's gonna be it. I hope you enjoyed and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Later.